So, hello and good day to everyone. So, welcome to another episode of the Daily Broker podcast. My name is Lloyd. I'm the managing partner of Oros Real Estate. And of course, with me is my business partner and very good friend, Ice Calderon. Ice, are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
Good morning from our corner of the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. So, just a mental note to everyone. As with the previous episodes, we are broadcasting live from two different parts of the world. I am here in Manila, in the Philippines, and of course, my partner, as you could see by her background, mukha namang hindi Manila Bay yan. That, that she is very much in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay. So, how's your day so far?
Okay naman, bukod sa maraming ibon sa
Mm,
kinauupuan ko today. So
oo.
if you hear some noise,
Mm, sige.
those are the birds from here.
Okay. So, what's the temperature today? Kasi here in the Philippines, like super hot right now.
Uh, I think it's around 30-ish, but there's been an advisory that it's gonna be going up to 42 degrees today, I think.
That's when you know it's pretty
Yeah.
hot here because it's 34 from what I could see on my monitor. It's 34 today
Mm,
here. And of course, in other parts of the Philippines, even worse. Yeah, and
yeah.
again, we're very okay. Sorry for speaking off topic. Very excited about today's just small chit chat with one of our good friends in Dubai, and of course, we'll it's a lot of stories to tell, particularly in life, in work, and of course, we'll talk about more about his real estate perspectives. Remember, the Daily Broker podcast is here to bring valuable insights for the global Filipino, and of course, we are consulting global Filipinos for our episodes. Sige, so Ice, this is of course he is your friend, so I think you have to do the honor of doing the introduction.
Right. Thank you so much for that. All right. So, of course, I have the honor to introduce our guest speaker for today. He's a very good friend. We've been friends for like forever already. But of course, I have the honor to introduce him as our guest speaker, who will talk about his personal experiences not only in the Philippines but also in Dubai because he's been here for quite some time. And then his perspectives about real estate. So, without further ado, let me introduce Terence Acosta. Terence, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Lloyd. Good morning,
Morning,
Ice.
morning, Terence.
Thank you so
I'm
much for giving us your time
calling
today.
Ice. I'm used to calling her Ivy,
Ay,
so
Ivy.
sorry.
Okay, sige. Pwede naman, Ivy.
Pwede
So,
rin naman.
yes.
Whichever
Yeah,
works.
good morning, everyone.
Kailan ka ba
So, by the way,
nag-re...
I'm Terence.
Yeah, hi, Terence, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, I'm Terence. I live in Dubai. So, for quite some time. So, since 2007. So, yeah. Been.
Very sassy. That's
That's
16 years. Huh? I love Terence.
maiksi pa lang. Maiksi pa lang yun, no? Wala pa
Oo.
yung Burj Khalifa, andito na siya. Okay.
Mm. Mm.
Okay, tell us about the reason why you moved to Dubai if it's if it's nothing too personal. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit
Well,
about your decision.
uh, I graduated and became CPA in the Philippines. And then at that time, I think when I was still studying, I always wanted to work abroad.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And what really brought I like the deciding factor is like I don't want to live in the Philippines. Like it's more of income. The income in the Philippines is too low. So I'm just being honest. Like working in the Philippines, low income depends on where you are. If you live in the province, income is too small, and then more experience. I believe that's the reason why I really wanted to work abroad. So when I graduated and became CPA, fortunately, my sister was already outside the country. So by that time, someone from the family is already working abroad. So it really pushed me to like to decide that to work abroad as well. So that's one of the factors that really affected my decision to come here. Not actually initially in the UAE. I said like, oh, I want to work in the US, but the thing is so difficult to go to the US. So okay, UAE is available, so let's go to UAE. So that's the thing.
Mm.
Ayun. So it
Yeah.
it was really parang ever since talaga, ever since we were still in college, by the way. We went to the same university, Lloyd. So,
Right.
but we never saw each other in college kasi sobrang busy ng mga accountancy major. So,
Mm.
kaya we never really met during college. We met after college na. Actually, here na in Dubai when I
in
started flying to Dubai a couple of years ago then.
Wow,
so
that's
that's
I mean, meeting someone from the same school, pero I mean, you were there in the same tenureship in your
yeah,
school.
yeah. But
Tapos
the
Yes.
thing
meeting,
is,
Yes.
yeah,
but the thing is, they were she's a classmate of my friends. So from time to time discuss, oh, do you know this? You know this girl? They were schoolmates in high school.
right.
Yes.
Okay, and then
Same
eventually
circle.
Mm.
same circle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, ang galing lang kasi you met each other in the other part of in another part of the world, of all places, right?
When she visited.
Correct.
Yeah, just yeah, sorry Terence, just going back to what you mentioned though. So parang very cool for me. It's a very practical answer coming from you. Sabi mo, it's income. And I think there really is some income disparity here in the Philippines. A lot, actually. Especially for the people in the regions. And wala, that's a very fundamental problem already ingrained in the Philippine context. So yeah, I mean, how to battle it really, rather than just to fly away to some place and live a better life for yourself. And that's good. Aside from the very practical part, I think you mentioned experiences, right? So of course there's a lot of the world to experience, and I think most of them are in Dubai. Most of these wonderful experiences are in Dubai. And yeah,
Mm.
I mean, I'd like to just know how were your first few years in moving to Dubai? How were those years?
Okay. So just to touch on the income disparity that you just mentioned. I remember when I started working, because I was working in SGV, which is in the Philippines, which is EY, right? Prince and
Mm,
Young's.
yes, I
And
know.
then here, and at that time I was earning like, what's my basic? I think it's 13,000, I guess. 13,000 pesos a month.
Yep.
And I was like, how can I survive with this amount? And then when I came here in UAE, I started working at in PwC.
Mm,
Okay, and then by that time my salary is almost the same as my, in terms of number, it's almost the same as my salary in the Philippines. And I was like, and I'm just trying to compare it, like in the Philippines with your 13,000 income, you cannot buy
mm,
Nike shoes. I mean, buying a Nike shoes would be like almost half of your salary
yeah,
at
it's
that
true.
time.
Mm,
And then here,
True.
that's only like 200, 300 for a Nike shoes. You go to a Nike shop and it's like 300. So that's the disparity that you can, that really obvious. And then working in Dubai or working in UAE, because I started working in Abu Dhabi. I was hired in PwC in Abu Dhabi office, and I'm the first Filipino at that time. And
mm,
it was really funny, because in the office there's so many Arabic and so many Indians and Pakistanis, and they don't usually call me by name, because I'm the first Filipino. They always call me, oh, the Filipino guy. So so that I'm the very first Filipino on that office. And yeah, it was good. Um, Compared to the working environment in the Philippines, it's less toxic, with the work-life balance.
mm.
And but the experience that I brought from the Philippines and working in PwC really helped me. So yeah, good times.
Good times. I mean,
Yes.
okay, so you mentioned the PricewaterhouseCoopers, right? So you were the first Filipino in PricewaterhouseCoopers.
In Abu Dhabi office,
Oh,
yes.
right. Oh, I mean, that's pretty
But
cool.
in the Dubai office, they have already Filipinos at that
Mm,
time.
mm. I mean, sounds like a wonderful experience. I was expecting
Amazing.
like, it was quite difficult. It was quite, it was a struggle. But well, what can I say? I
Maybe
mean, it's Dubai and
on
it's
my
it's
part,
the
because
UAE.
maybe on my part it's okay, but
Mm,
for other Filipinos, I heard stories, horror stories, and some of them I mean, some horror stories, some are good. It depends, I think, on the situation that you're in. But on my side, on my experience, I had a quite good experience.
That's great
Started
to hear,
working.
actually. Because I've also heard several horror stories about our fellow Filipinos here in Dubai, and it's good to know that you had a great experience on your first few years.
Mhm. Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about parang the transition from, did you like move from one company to another, or was it like a long experience in per company ganyan? Kasi how does it work in Dubai? Because usually Dubai it's a 2-year contract. So
Yeah.
for you, how did it happen?
Okay. Initially, the way contracts, employment contracts works in the UAE is that you have limited and unlimited. So if you have a limited contract, it means that you correct. I'm not so accurate, but if you have a limited contract, it means that you need to stay with your company and then up to the expiration of the contract, which is 2 years, 3 years at that time, and then they change it to 2 years. So and then if you have an unlimited contract, it means that you can leave anytime within that contract period. Okay, they
Mm,
don't have a bind on you.
Mhm.
Okay,
okay.
so
Mhm.
in PwC, because it's a professional organization, I mean with consultants, most of the contracts that we have is unlimited. So but the thing is, my sister keeps on telling me that if you're working in a company, you stay for quite some time, build up your experience so that it won't be too um, ugly on your CV that you keep on changing jobs. So, and
Mhm.
besides, PwC is a big organization. So, um, I don't think staying would be bad. So, I stayed there for 4.5 years,
Mhm.
almost 5 years. And yes, and then after that, I transferred to one of my clients. I transferred to one of my clients, which is Etisalat, the biggest telecom
Mhm.
company here in the UAE. So I worked in Etisalat as internal audit in
Mhm.
the internal audit, and then after that I stopped working for 9 months, and I went to the Philippines because me and Ivy and few of my friends started a business. And then I came back to the UAE again after that 9 months of uh, not working in the corporate world, and I now I work in a government entity here in UAE. So that's the transition. Three companies
Mhm.
in the span
And
of
that's
almost 16 years.
Also,
okay. So the reason I
yeah.
sorry.
No, no, it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so the reason I ask is because of course there will be people who will be watching this na also who wants to, explore in Dubai and how it works then for accountants like yourself. Kasi for our other guests, iba-iba kasi yung professions na guest natin, Terren. So baka may gusto ding malaman how they can transition from the Philippines to here and how they can navigate that your industry in Dubai, diba? Yeah, so sorry for
Okay,
talking over you, Lloyd.
no problem, no problem. One thing I can say about the profession that I am in here in the UAE, there's so much competition. Yeah, there's so much competition, especially um, with Indians and Pakistanis. Okay, with Indians and Pakistanis, and because of that, Indians and Pakistanis tries to lower. Filipinos are really expensive, by the way, when it comes to this industry. They're quite expensive, and Indians and Pakistanis are quite cheap. They can accept cheaper salary um, compared to Filipinos. That's why it's so difficult to like to compete in like in PwC. In PwC, we have like so many Indians and Pakistanis, and even in private companies, it's mainly dominated by Indians and Pakistanis. That's why the market is so like competitive, and Filipinos are having difficulty getting into that into this industry. But the thing is, Filipinos are so good
Mhm.
in in finance, and that makes it. And I believe that it's already a well established fact that Filipinos work harder and work better compared to other nationalities. So that's why most of the companies wanted to hire Filipinos. So but on our industry, you can get in, you can get a good job, and you can get a good pay for those who wanted to come here.
Right. So just, my takeaway from what you said is that you take advantage of the innate the innate view or the innate assumption of Filipinos being hardworking and being personable, being very good in English too. I mean, it's very big, particularly in working internationally, right? So that's why we command a higher pay. But for them to thrive, they have to compete a little more when it comes to accepting probably a lower offer, something that just to get them started and something to let them, show what it is that you've really got. And yeah, I think that's very good advice. And I think that, of course, if you are a Filipino coming from the Philippines and then trying to work abroad, you have this image of grandeur, right? You have this image of grandeur. Once I start working, I have to get like 6-digit salary, blah blah blah. And I mean, sometimes you get clouded by that, and sometimes if you don't get that, you kind of get disappointed. And based on what Terrence mentioned here, Ivy, is that I mean, this is just pretty normal and this is just really part of the toll you have to pay for wanting to work in such a great country like the UAE.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. There are
Yes.
compromises at some point, right? Especially when it comes to, especially now, the Baterans, because it's a lot different now compared to a couple of years ago when you first started. And now there are more Filipinos who are coming over, and I think at this point we already have like more than a million Filipinos here. Because when I first visited, it was like 700K pa lang eh. Yung 10 years ago, that's 700K. And now we're already at more than 1 million Filipino expats working in Dubai. So mas ano na talaga, mas tough na yung competition. Not only for Filipinos versus other nationalities, but also Filipinos versus Filipinos din. So sobrang dami nang lumilipad papuntang Dubai. Yeah. So our next question would be about real estate. Because as you know, we are broadcasting this podcast for the main purpose of really finding out the perspectives of different professionals who are based on different parts of the world and ask them about their perspectives about the Philippine real estate. So yun, there is a question ko is, what do you think about the Philippine real estate?
Sige, before
Ano
you
Okay.
yung
sorry
mga...
sorry, before you answer that,
Okay.
still have another question kasi before I
Okay,
move
sorry.
on to the next. Okay, sige.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah,
So
Terrence, I just want to know a little bit more, just like to pick your mind a little bit when it comes to investments. From a finance person like yourself who's been very seasoned already in this line of work. Are there other investment vehicles or investment platforms that you are in? And if so, I'd like to ask you what's your idea of a good investment from coming from a global Filipino standpoint.
okay. So I want to answer this because this question is actually um, how can I say it? It's very touchy
Mm-hmm.
when someone asks me about this question, because I was here for quite some time,
Mm-hmm.
and then I cannot say that during those times since I came here, people make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So people might have thought like, oh, you're working in finance, you must be really good at everything, you and with money and all those kind of stuff. At one point, you stumble and you fall, right? So that whole 16 years, it's not an easy ride when it comes to investments, when it comes to finances. So on the first few years, yeah, spend without thinking of investment. Okay, so that's the whole cycle. It's only just now. So after all that experiences, I think 2015 IV, is it? When did we start? When did we start?
2016.
2016. Yes. So I came here 2007 and then around 2013, I started not venturing out, but more of learning how to trade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I started stocks investment in the Philippines, and then eventually I got bored with it because there's not much liquidity in the Philippines, so it's
True.
kind of slow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, some people are telling me, okay, advising just go for a long-term investing and all those kind of stuff. But the thing is, it depends on your personality.
Mm-hmm.
You might get bored with that long-term investing. I'm not saying that that's not good investing, but on my personality, I got bored with it. Okay, then I started learning forex trading. So uh, that gave me money actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, um, provided that you know what you're doing.
Right.
Okay, so until now I still do forex trading, and that's a thing that it's like driving. You learn and then you don't forget, so you keep on doing it. And then from time to time, if I'm not too busy, I'll look at the market, I'll look at the chart, and then trade. Okay.
Mhm.
Then after that, I started business with Ivy and few of my friends, which in 2016, which charge at the experience, I believe. I'll just say it. I charge at the experience. It was a good idea, but the thing is capital requirement and time. I never expected at the time that it will take to
Correct.
to focus. It's so much, and I cannot stay for too long in the Philippines without money coming in on my side. So I decided to go back to the corporate world. And in 2018, I started a business here in the UAE. So I have an accounting and consulting, accounting, taxation, and consulting. So because in 28, that was 2017, because in 2018 they introduced VAT in here. So I found it as an opportunity to venture out on a business as a
Mhm.
consulting business. So now until now I run that business. I have clients, small medium clients that I give accounting and taxation services. And um, in terms of real estate, we um, we have condos in the Philippines and few lands, I believe. So based from us fruit of the work that we had
Mm-hmm.
here in the UAE. So yeah, that's my investment experience, I guess,
Yeah.
as you say.
Yeah. Sure.
And
Actually, very good. No? Kasi I was wondering, like, someone in the finances would be more risk averse, you know. Okay, so just some context of why I asked
That's
this. No?
true.
Of course, I did some research on you know, usual naman yan when we have guests. And I saw a photo of about, you know, technical analysis. I saw it on your cover photo for some reason. Nakita ko,
oh, really?
yeah, you're doing TA. Di ba? Nagti-technical analysis. I was like, okay, so this guy is pretty much speaks my same language as mine. You know, so I am also into trading, right? So anyway, yeah, so that's why I wanted to get to know. But it's really, I mean, it's really surprising for me to know. Pleasantly surprising to know that, you know, hindi nga lahat ng pag finance person ka medyo risk averse ka, so you have to like go for the long routes, the long investing, blue chip companies only type of thing. Oh, so hindi mo na kailangan yung technical analysis yun eh pag blue chip companies, 'di ba? So anyway, yeah, I mean, this is good to hear, and then it's also much better to hear that you were, you know, were able to venture into other businesses and then reinvest back in the Philippines, which I think
Yes.
Ice wants to know about, like of course wants to know about real estate, and you know what was your general mindset in investing in these, right, Ice?
Yes, that's correct. So, as you know, the this podcast is really aimed towards, getting the perspectives of the global Filipinos across the globe, about investing in the Philippines in terms of real estate. Kasi nga maraming forms tayo ng investment. So, can you give us a little bit of your parang analysis? Well, you analyze a lot of things. So, a little bit of your analysis or perspective about investing in real estate naman in the Philippines.
Okay. So can I give a bad experience first?
Go. Of course, we'd like to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd like to hear that.
So way back in 2012, 2013, 2014. Okay. So there's one development in Makati which was offered to us, and he said yes. Okay, we can get. Okay. And then at that time, we started paying it because it's a pre-selling development, and we started paying it. And at one point, there was a recession in the UEE, so it got because the monthly payment was too expensive. We had difficulty in doing the monthly payment at that time. Okay. And I think we paid around 1.8 million already. We tried to connect with our agent at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and never helped us to at least recover some of that payment.
What?
That's almost one.
That's
1.8
sad.
million.
Said like trying
Too bad.
trying hard, uh, but work here is so difficult, and uh, can we at least, what's the solution that we
Mhm.
can do?
What?
And
Mm.
I met a friend who's in real estate as well at that, and then he told me he could have helped you to recover or apply some of those payments if there's a new development on a cheaper scale, then you can use it. But we never got any help. So at that time, so that's one of my really bad experience. And then after some time, we stopped. I said no buying of property. So that really set the 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 trajectory. So
Mm.
it was kind of flat at that moment from 2013, and then 2018 we started again.
That's nice.
Okay, so we started again. We bought a pre-selling development again that will be turned over next year. Um, and then in the province we bought few lands, because what we realized that I grew up in a province. Ivy would know that we live in a barangay
Mm.
out of town, like 10-15 minutes out of town, and but then the government decided to put an airport next to us,
Mm.
so it was a good opportunity.
Oh, oo nga.
Was a good
I remember.
opportunity. And then suddenly all the lands increased by 1,000%. So we started buying um, land behind our residential area, and then on near the airport. So that's the history in
So
terms of
you,
real
yeah.
estate.
So I think it took you like 5 years to recover from that trauma. I mean,
Yes.
that's 1.8 million. I mean, that's almost a life's worth of savings for some people here in the Philippines as
Mhm.
well. So, I mean,
Yeah.
sorry to hear
And
about that.
actually, that's the reason why we are doing this as well, Terrence. Kasi nga, you would like to, have more education in terms of real estate investment. And of course, to also emphasize that, even though you had a bad experience, there are people like us, Lloyd and I, who are very much willing to help you navigate through your real estate investment. Kasi nga, it really takes a professional to do a professional job, diba?
Mm.
So,
Mhm.
yun. When it comes
I
to,
only,
I
I
mean,
only came.
horror stories madami when it comes to investments.
Mhm. I only
Mhm.
came back because I met a real estate agent that's really helpful,
Mm.
and became a good friend of mine. That really set like me, okay, you're not gonna have the same experience as before, so it's better you invest, and it's
Yeah.
a good opportunity to invest in the Philippines at that time. So okay, let me give it a try.
Right.
And then now it's almost 4 years, I guess, that I've been doing it. So
Yeah, four
yeah,
years pretty much. And then it will be turned over next year,
next
right? Tama.
Next
Where
year.
is this development, if I may ask?
in Mandaluyong. In
Mandaluyong.
Mandal, yeah,
Oh,
it's not a big development, um, but yes, it's quite good. I bit on my perspective,
yeah.
it it's quite okay.
Mandaluyong
And
actually.
me and Ate Wilms have the condo in Cubao, where Ivy has her own apartment. So yeah, that's one also.
Yeah. Mandaluyong actually is one of the more attractive locations because of it's comparatively less price per square meter, but at the same time, you are adjacent to all the major business districts. So Makati,
Correct.
yeah, Makati, and then BGC. There's already a bridge connecting Mandaluyong and BGC, and then of course
Yeah.
Ortigas. Ortigas is pretty much a stone's throw away from Mandaluyong. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's actually
It's pretty
just
much the middle of everything
Mm.
else.
it's quite good location.
Mm.
It's just I think down you know when you take Makati Avenue, and then there's a bridge towards Mandaluyong, and then you just it's just there towards that area.
I think I know the development already. Yeah, cool. Ivy has no idea, but that's okay.
Okay.
Grabe ka sa akin.
Yeah, alam mo naman yan. Well, kasi kami Terrence, we work in Oras, we work in our specialties, right? In our areas of expertise. Well, Ivy will always be like BGC Makati, that's her turf. I work with everywhere else. I like the more of the not really undiscovered, but then underserved cities.
Mm-hmm.
I like those. There's so much promise in that. Like Pasig, Mandaluyong, Quezon City, all of these when it comes to like OFWs kasi when they think about investing in high value properties, the first things that come to mind would be BGC and Makati. And okay lang naman.
Correct.
It's just that for me,
Yeah.
there's like in the past years kasi sobrang daming infrastructure developments. Particularly,
Yeah.
yan nga, Mandaluyong for me. Like, I think it would be my dream to have a very good investment in Mandaluyong as well. If, on a personal note. Because we have like in other parts of the country. But yeah, Mandaluyong really is where it's at currently, to be honest with you.
Mm,
So I mean, I'd
yeah.
like to congratulate you for Terrence for having for having that una for conquering your trauma of 5 years, right? I mean 1.8 million is no joke, really. If I were burned that much, I probably wouldn't invest again. And I think from your agent's perspective or your broker's perspective, it just takes a little of bit of reassurance and a lot of nurturing relationships with your clients to really get them out of that shell, of bad
Yeah.
experiences. And I'm just happy, it turned out well for Terrence here, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's really challenging for like to trust again,
Mm,
especially because of that bad experience. But I'm really happy and grateful that you were able to find your way in real estate again.
mhm.
And of course, another question would probably be if you will be investing outside of where you have already invested, where is the next for you lang ha? Kasi I mean you've been out of the country for for half of your life. So if you have like parang idea lang no, it doesn't matter if you've searched about it, you did your research or whatever, just an idea. Where will your next place of investment be?
Okay, because me and my brothers and sisters, um, our ultimate goal is to own a farm.
Mm,
Okay, own a farm, a big farm, because from the very beginning we want a family business. We grew up as, I mean, the family. Uh, we're not that we're not wealthy. Okay, so we said whatever we do, we want to have a family business that will cater everyone, because we're seven
mm,
siblings. So that will give money to my brothers that hasn't finished school
Mm.
and that doesn't want to work. So that's the whole goal. And um, every time I discuss with my sister who works in Bahrain, um, and my brother who works in Hong Kong, we always have this idea of big farm. So that's actually the ultimate goal. And my sister wants to put it in either in Batangas or Cavite. That's the long term objective. So yeah, and then we're just buying lands to expand it. So so far it's getting better, and we're earning from it,
Mhm.
and eventually become a farm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
that's great. I mean, siyempre exciting for me to hear yung mga ganitong stories kasi well, siyempre Terence kasi kami in Oras, right? In Oras Real Estate, we spouse, that real
Mhm.
estate or properties, we bridge property legacies, right? And your property should be something that should outlive whatever your case in your life right now, it should outlive you and provide a better life for the next generation. Ganun talaga dapat. Especially from, coming from myself as a parent, that should always be the purpose of real estate. It's not for your own enjoyment. Maybe it is to some extent,
Mhm.
but that should be only be 20%. But 80% for me the purpose should always be to preserve, your legacy. As you mentioned, we laughed about the word legacy a while ago, but this is precisely it. You are doing a great job
Yes,
in
correct.
preserving a legacy for yourself as well, and for the next generation of your family. Yeah, I mean, if we have other parting words for our global Filipinos who will be watching the podcast, and other pieces of advice when it comes to work, life, and investments, and of course real estate.
Mhm.
okay. Uh so as a finance professional, right? So I've read so many reports, so many did so many analysis. I audited so many companies,
Mm.
right? The only thing that really appreciates much is land.
True.
Yeah. So buildings that you buy, they depreciate, and eventually you're gonna replace it another cost. But the land will always appreciate. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, so I believe that if you have money, extra money, invest in land, as if you're earning so much outside the country, um,
Mhm.
uh, like foreign exchange, then it would be bigger value in the Philippines. So buy more land. In terms of, correct me if I'm wrong, can I raise a question?
Go
Because
ahead.
I cannot just say, because my office mates, or some of the people that I know, oh, let's buy condo. Can you offer? Can you check if you can buy condo? And I said, like, am I right to say that condo condo properties or buying condos in the Philippines, it's because it's such a very saturated market. It's already saturated. There's so much like people, and then so much people having condominiums and selling it again. It's quite difficult to sell it again if you're planning to like to buy and then resell it.
Yeah.
I don't know if my
Mhm.
perspective is wrong,
No.
but
So yeah, go ahead. I'll answer it after you say it.
So so every time my friends will gonna ask me, oh, is it okay to buy condo? And I'm like, no, no. That's my usual answer. It's like,
Mm.
okay. So I always tell them, okay, house and lot is better. There's a land, there's a house, then it's better to build that one, to buy that. But condominium, I'm 50-50 because of the current situation, or what we have right now in the
Right.
Philippines.
Mm.
Then and invest on provinces. I believe that because that's what I'm doing. I'm investing more in Bicol because I see a potential in there. Um, yeah, and that's the real estate take.
Mm-hmm.
My take on real estate.
And Terence, is actually good insights. These are good insights. Actually wala namang mali doon din sa sama mo. Coming from
Yeah,
different schools of thought kasi when it comes to this conversation, and I think I get so passionately, conversant about this whenever this comes up. Because for example, kami na
that's
lang
true.
ni Ivy, we have very different perspectives when it comes to real estate investing. I would always pick house and lots. She would always go with condos. And
That's true.
kasi ano yan it really matters on the aspirations of the who's buying it, the aspirations, the needs and the wants, right?
Correct.
At the end of the day,
The
real
goals
estate should,
too.
the goals, these real estate should be able to answer these four basic things. And if you are someone who is, less risk averse, you might as well go for a lot somewhere not in, not in the CBDs, the central business districts, because there are chances that this would appreciate far far more, right? Because of course you are seeing some kind of infrastructure development in, for example, Bicol. You see promise in Bicol, and that's, I'm sure you've done your research, so that's why ganun yung perspective mo in buying lots in Bicol.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. It's just that it might not happen. There's always that possibility. But if you are risk averse, I would suggest you go, and you have someone in mind who could use the condo development, for example, in Makati and Mandaluyong, if they're going to school somewhere there, they're going to work somewhere there,
Mm-hmm.
then if you are more risk
Correct.
averse, go for a condo. Hindi naman nabababa yan. Inevitably, the value will go up.
Correct.
Inevitably. At some point, siguro kung 5 to 10 years down the line, it will never be the same naman. Kasi, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you invested in a blue chip company, di ba, in trading terms, right? So you invested in the
Mm-hmm.
likes of Microsoft and Google. But if you are investing in lots in the provinces, then you have yung mga mas wild card na mga companies. So, different schools of thought. And I think ang ganda nung may ganun tayong kind of perspective to be able to try to reevaluate our situation. Ivy, you might
Right.
want to like pitch in or something.
Yeah, and for those who are for those who are listening or for those who are watching this episode, I would also like to just emphasize that really when you are investing in a property, you really have to know what the goal is all about. Because one of the mistakes, or not naman mistakes, but one of the common misconceptions about buying a property is really una mong iisipin kung magkano. Actually, hindi. From a perspective of a broker naman, ang una kong tinatanong, para saan mo gagamitin? Kasi like, a similar story, for example, I have a client who's an accountant, been in the industry for more than 10 years of his life, and then he decided to buy a 7-hectare farm. So, una kong tanong sa kanya, para saan yon? Ang sagot niya sa akin, mura kasi. So, para sa akin, okay, mura siya, pero alam mo ba yung accompanying costs niyan? Kasi syempre, hindi lang naman yun yung pagkakagastusan mo. The development of that 7 hectare is another thing to discuss in the future. So, also, ano yung goal mo? Kung accountant ka, tapos may 7-hectare farm ka, what are you gonna do with that 7 hectares? So, ang una ko talagang tanong is, what is it for? Is it an investment? Is it end use? Kasi most of the time, for land, kasi, especially if it's bigger cuts, it's usually for development or farming, for example. Pero for condos naman, it's usually for investment. And bihira naman kasing bumibili ng condo for end use unless it's a 3-bedroom property na doon titira yung buong pamilya. Kasi usually, in the Philippines, diba, Filipinos are more like, if I have a kid, I want them to have, a garden, a place where they can play. Pero, again, it really depends on the goal, kung ano ba talaga yung gusto mo for your family or for yourself, etc. So, but that's a very good point, no? Most of the time, Filipinos who are working abroad talaga, the common go-to property is house and lot. Kasi syempre after they worked abroad, they want to come back to the Philippines. And where are they gonna live? Of course, a house, right? For not only for them but for their entire family. So, yeah, that's a very good insight, Terence. Thank you so much for raising that. It's a very good point of conversation.
Yeah. Thank you. And also thank you for investing in your hometown, because
Yeah.
yeah, that is a very nationalistic part of me.
The reason why I'm investing back in my hometown is because of the lack of change that I've seen for the past 15 years that I've been coming back to in Arado. I know I'm not gonna live there when I grow old. I'm not gonna live there. I have other place on my mind where I'm gonna retire. But the thing is, just for people that was left, I mean, that's currently living there to have a change. I want to give something. It's either more work or something
Mm.
that they can do that's not the same as what they've been doing for quite some time. So I said, like, if I can only do something for them, it's either I give back or give them work so that they can earn more. So that's always
That's
the
nice.
thought process. Yeah.
Thank you. That's very noble, actually. Very
Mm.
noble. Giving back
I'm
to your community.
always, yeah, I'm always for nation building, particularly in no best way, no better way to do it than for real estate, right? Because real
Yes.
estate spurs jobs, spurs economic activity, and again, it will all outlive us at the end of the day. Again, thank you, Terrence, for being with us today on the Daily Broker podcast. It's an honor to be hearing all of these fantastic insights from a very seasoned professional. And again, thank
Mhm.
you for reinvesting back in the Philippines, no matter where you may be. Really
Thank you
nice.
very much. No
Okay.
problem.
Thank you so much, Terence.
Yeah. Sige. So again, this has been the Daily Broker podcast. For Ice and I comprise of Aurus Real Estate. We are a brokerage company based in BGC. And this podcast is sponsored also and in partnership with our partners from Negocentro and Property Finance Asia. You could access these two platforms via their Facebook pages and their websites. They are two of the most trusted real estate websites here in the Philippines. So if you want to get your top-notch real estate insights and top-notch real estate thoughts and other real estate properties that you might want to check out. These are all available here. Okay, so that's that. Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so
Thank you,
much.
Terrence. Thank you, Ivy, for being with us today. And again, this has been Lloyd, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
See ya. Thank you.
Thank you.